Hey everyone, welcome back to the BFD channel. Today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of upgrading your bike to different speeds. All right. This video, I just wanted to go over a few things about upgrading or changing your gearing. A lot of you do decide to increase how many speeds you have on your bike. All right, so before we begin, I would like to say that for 99% of you, I don't think you should upgrade your Brompton to any gearing. I think you should try and ride your bike, enjoy it the way it comes from Brompton. That is why it's very important for you to choose the correct gearing before buy your first Brompton, all right? In the current lineup, Brompton, they have their 2-speed, 3-speed, 6, 4-speed, and I think the G-Line is an 8-speed, and they have a 12-speed. So there's many options for you to choose, and it's always better to ride a bike the way it comes from factory because that is the way it's designed. When you buy a bike from the factory, you know, they test it, the shifter, the chain, the sprockets, the chain ring, everything is tested and it's going to work the best for you. And also, Brompton, they use quality parts that are meant to be used as a commuter bike. So over the course of the lifespan of your bike, you're gonna have to replace these parts. If they're from Brompton, they're easier to get, and also Brompton will do the maintenance for you if you're not comfortable working on your bike. If you go the aftermarket route like me, Brompton will not work on your bike, and you know, if you have drivetrain problems, you're left by yourself to work on your bike unless you're in a country where you have a lot of local bike shops that work on Bromptons. Unfortunately, in the United States, there are no aftermarket shops that really work on the Bromptons. So please take that into consideration before you upgrade anything on your drivetrain. This video is going to be all over the place, but I am in the process of upgrading my Superlight and my T-Line. The Superlight I completed. This also brings up another point of the video. When you're choosing a company to use to upgrade your Brompton, it's important to choose a company that actually builds the wheel, the drive chain parts, and whatever components you need. Because a lot of the times, you're gonna run into some kind of technical problem and you're gonna have to email or call the company to ask them to help you complete your project, okay? And that's why I like to choose companies like Brompton Plus or Speed Mini Cycles, because they actually build their wheels and design them to work with aftermarket components. If you choose to buy from a vendor that only sells these parts, you might not be able to get the after support that you need to complete your bike, okay? And like I said, this is important for me because I don't have a local bike shop or anyone that I know that works on Brompton. So when I do these kind of projects, sometimes it'll take me a few weeks just to get everything in order. The build that I'm doing today, they're both from Brompton Plus. I like Brompton Plus because they answer their emails quickly. They make all of these kits together, so there's less errors that you can make because they've tested it and they actually use these kits. I like this kit also because they sell it as a kit and they also sell the spare parts as well. So in the future, when you have to replace, you know, a part here, a part there, a sprocket here, shifter parts, whatever, they actually sell them separately. All right, so make sure you know who you're buying it from and can get aftercare support. All right, so let me go over the basic 5-speed kit that comes with this Brompton Plus kit. It's a very basic kit and very easy to install, and it comes with a chain, 12-speed chain, the shifter components. You're gonna have to go inside your shifter and replace the clicking mechanism. Okay, and that's what this set is here, and also the 5 sprockets that you're gonna have to change it to. This is also Brommy Plus made, or made for Brommy Plus's kit. Okay, so that's good to go. Oh, one last thing is also, when you have different types of wheels, it's good to ask the company if your specific wheel will actually work with the 5-speed system. If you look at my wheels here, I have the stock T-line 4-speed, and they made their kit to work with this. So as you can see, I was able to swap it out very nice and easy, okay? And this is a Brommy Plus custom wheel that they made me, and this has a hub smith. When I asked them to make me this wheel, I said, yeah, I'm going to be running your 5-speed system, so make sure the hub can take a 5-speed, okay? Now this is my Speed Mini Cycles. This was specifically made for my 4-speed, and when I went to try and put the 5-speed sprockets on, it didn't fit. It's too thin. In order for this to work, I would have to get a wider cassette you know, body just to make this work, and that's not hard to do, but it involves getting more parts. All right, and also depending on your wheel set, you might have to get it dished. So basically you would have to reshape your rear wheel, okay? And that is something I personally can't do. So that is why I asked them to build me this one specifically for the 5-speed. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know I like to change parts all the time. None of my bikes stay the same. So in the future, I will probably be going back to a 4-speed, but for now I just want to test out the 5-speed and see if that extra 5th gear is going to help me. Because as you know, I'm older and you know I get knee pain, and I'm really hoping that this extra sprocket is going to help me get over those bridges a little bit easier. I just took off the Tubolito tube from the Speed Mini Cycles wheel, and I've been using this for over 2 years, and look how dirty the Tubolitos. It's still working fine, it's just gotten very black, you can see, from usage. The tire itself looks fine because this is my weekend bike. This is my old T-line. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, so before I put my tube and tire back onto this, I need to plug up my spoke holes, and I've been using these Velocity Velo plugs for a very long time, and I love them. Whenever I get the chance to swap them out, I always add them, all right? And they come in 2 sizes, and it's really hard to tell which size you need because all of these rims, they actually use, sometimes they use the red ones and sometimes they use the yellow ones. So let's see, the T-line, this is the T-line, right? The T-line uses, let's see, it's the big one. Yeah, all right, so it's going to be the yellow ones. So we're gonna squeeze them in, and then we'll put the tube on and the tire on. Line it up straight like that, and you can get another tool and simply press them in. Okay, and over time you'll see the flaps here. The tube itself, it'll push it down and it'll remain flat. You just got to make sure it's pressed in all the way. This way it's not sticking out. A lot of aftermarket makers of Brompton parts, they don't provide instructions, and Brommy Plus, they actually provide instructions by video. So this installation, how to install their kit, it's online, and you can always access it in the future to go back to if you need to work on your bike again. And that's why I really like Brommy Plus, all right? And this video is not sponsored by Brommy Plus. I paid for everything. All right, so I'm done putting the Velo plugs on. So this is the front, and the tire tread pattern has to go that way. All right, so we'll put the tire on, I should say. All right, a little harder to do. And we'll put that in. This is an important step. Make sure you deflate your tube as much as you can. This way it becomes, or else you'll never get your tire on. Okay, so That's deflated. Now we can easily put that in, work its way around. Remember, tubolitos are very easy to pop when you install them, so please take your time. Don't rush. Okay, I don't have the hand strength to get it on, so I'm going to use my tire levers. Make sure you're not pinching. These tire levers are at the end of their lifespan, so I do have to upgrade soon. All right. Okay, and that's good to go. Now this one is ready to go, and this one's going on the T-line. This brings up another important point on how your wheel is built, because if you look here, this is the older design and it has the axle built into the wheel, okay? So this will work on the Superlight. But this wheel wouldn't work on the Superlight because of the design. So on this one, you're gonna have to use one of these axles to get it onto the bike. So that's why this one's going on the T-line and this one's staying on the Superlight. All right, so let's put this onto the Superlight, like so. Squeeze that in there. All right, and lock it in. Okay, so once you have this step in here like this, the chain tensioner has to go on top of it, okay? And that's why you're gonna have to reuse this one, because you're gonna have to use 2 bolts to make this stay onto the bike. So when you're actually having a wheel built, you want to specify what type of bike you have and which bike you're going to use it on. This way it'll fit nicely for your setup. Okay, so this one is on now, and let's put the chain tensioner on here. Like so. Okay. All right, and the last step will be to put air into this tire, and we're going to be using the Cycplus pump, mini pump, the one with the LED screen. I love this pump. They do have several pumps that they make, but the one with the screen, it's so convenient just to be able to see your tire pressure. So if you're going to buy a pump from Cycplus, I would recommend getting the one with the tire pressure screen. Okay, and we'll just simply blow it up. Okay, so the tire is inflated and the bike is ready to go. So on this bike, I have already installed the 5-speed and tested it, and it's good to go. This Superlight version, you have to get additional chain pusher wing piece here that's specifically designed for this system, as well as longer bolts here to allow your wheels to move further out into this system. One thing to consider when you're buying an aftermarket wheel for these type of system is the sound, because if you've never had a Hub Smith wheel set before, they are generally louder than other hubs. So if you're going to order one that's custom or not custom, it's always good to ask how loud the hub is. All right, so let's take a look at how loud this one sounds. Personally, I like loud hubs. People can hear me coming, you know, from a distance with this type of hub. But I know many of you don't like loud hubs. I think Shoko doesn't like the loud ones either, right? Yeah, she's saying no. So that is also one thing to consider when you're getting an aftermarket wheel. All right, the T-line, the stock T-line is loud itself. Once I have it on the T-line again, I'll let you guys hear what that one is. All right, so next step, this bike is good to go. I'm going to start installing the 5-speed system onto the T-line. All right, so this is the stock T-line, and I went ahead and I swapped out the sprockets already. You just basically need one of these, and you can have one of these just to hold it in place. Simply just to hold the sprockets from moving it and then turning it. It's quite simple. On the lock ring itself, you'll notice that they'll say you know, 40 Newton meters, and if you have a torque wrench, you can torque it up to the right spec. I personally have never torqued it to the, you know, using a torque wrench, so that is up to you, but you know, you should always torque it to whatever they want to torque to. All right, so this system uses the through axle. That's step one, getting the sprockets on. Step two, I ordered a chain that is golden color just so it looks nice. I already cleaned it out with the Beaver ultrasonic cleaning machine and waxed it. Okay, so this one is good to go. And like I said, this is a 12-speed chain. You can't use the 11-speed chain. You're gonna have to swap out the chain. So let's do that now. So just to take the chain off, you do need a chain puller and to open up the link. Okay, so we simply squeeze this together and take out the chain.
Isn't it on top of there?
This chain is actually brand new as well, so I'll be saving it for the future. This one is also freshly waxed. Look at all the wax coming off of my pants. So, I've never ridden this with this new chain, so this chain is still good to go. And the quick link, you know, it should be all right because that's the first time I'm unclicking it. Actually, we can put this on later once the wheel is off. Okay, and the last step, which is going to be to change out the shifter mechanism internals. Okay, and that's what this is right here. So let's take a look at the parts itself. You're gonna have a new screen that says 135. You simply take out the old one. Okay, this says 4P T-line. Okay, so this is gonna go inside as well, and this is more internal parts as well. Okay, and this is what's nice, is that they have the instructions for you ready to go, and they also include an extra shifter cable. I'll see if I can recycle the one I have on it now and just save this one.
4-speed shifter into 5-speed. I have already removed it from the bike using a 2.5mm L side dial, which is alloy.
All right, so I finished installing the kits on both bikes. I'm just gonna cycle through the gears so you can see what it looks like. As far as the Superlight is concerned, the only problems I had were the chain pusher and this anchorage part of the bike. This was my commuter bike for a few years, and this was worn out and the chain pusher was worn out. So I had to replace them, and then everything worked fine afterwards. All right, so let's cycle through the gears so you guys can take a look. The bottom, number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and 2, 3, 4, and back to 5. All right. As far as the T-line goes, I am having problems with my Brompton derailleur. When I was installing it, I noticed that the pin was sticking out, and Oh, I should also mention that the Brommy Plus kit, they give you a 0.5 spacer, and I did add it to the back of this one. I wanted to push the cassette over to the right more to help it shift easier. As far as everything else goes, everything else went on nice and smooth, so let's see if it cycles through this time. I'm not really sure if it will, but let's see. Okay, we're going to start on the top on this one. All right, so it's the next day, and you know, yesterday after I finished, I spent about 5 hours going over the entire system. I've tried to reset the derailleur to factory, you know, reset at least 5 times, and you know, it just was shifting poorly. And when I was at work today, I was trying to think about what I was doing wrong, and I had one of those light bulb moments. Yesterday when I was working on the bike, Shoko said to me, wow, this chain tension is very low. So then that got me to thinking, I never checked the chain length, and that was the problem. Usually I buy the Brompton chains, and they come at 106 chain length, the chain links. And since this kit is not Brompton specific, they're at 110. And so I came home and I took out the links, and now they're at 106. I did it to the Superlight as well, and they ship perfectly. All right, so I'm gonna cycle through the gears now, and you guys can see how it looks. Oh, and also, I did notice that the derailleur pin here, it was poking out to about 1/4 of an inch. So I hammered it back in, and so far it's staying in there, but I did order a replacement just in case. I'm gonna keep an eye on it and replace it if I need to, all right? But everything should be good to go. All right, so this is number 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back down. Back up, a little bit faster, and back down. All right. All right, so overall, I'm very happy with the system. It's very affordable, and I think if you do have a 4-speed, it's very useful, especially for me, since I upgraded my front chainring by 2, and you know, now it's a 54 in the front. And I noticed that when I was trying to go up the bridges, sometimes I had a little bit of knee pain. So I'm going to go out probably either this weekend or next weekend to the city and go over the bridges and give this bike a nice test ride. All right. If you guys are interested in upgrading your Bromptons, always make sure you guys keep in mind all the tips I gave you in this video. All right. So I'll see you guys next time. All right.